What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden, and welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Weekly, where we take a deeper dive into the previous weeks for the Chicago Bulls, the previous week, discuss the wins and the losses and the awards that should be given, and look at the upcoming week ahead. Now, at the end of the day, it was a positive week, but at the end of the day, can we keep that up over the next upcoming weeks? We'll have to find out in these next 2 weeks. This upcoming week and the week after are the only weeks we have left in the NBA until play-in tournament time. So where are we going to finish? Is it 9th? Is it 10th? Are we going to end well? Are we going to end weak and poorly? We'll have to wait and see. But before we get any further, if you enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and their, previous week, the awards given, and the upcoming week. So, a positive week. It might not look like it, but 2-1 is what we ended up going this week. I think the frustrating moment about this week is the fact that we lost to the direct rival that's that we're in jeopardy of losing our 9 seed position from, and that is the Atlanta Hawks. That's a disaster, and that should have never happened. But at the end of the day, the cards have been dealt. We lost that game. We choked another big game that was put on the line for the Bulls, and that's something that's going to always frustrate us. But altogether, still a decent week. And it started with the Minnesota Timberwolves game, where we won this game 109-101. A game where Minnesota struggled, I would say, compared to the Bulls winning the game. Guys like Anthony Edwards missing a whole bunch of layups that he should just never, ever miss. They missed a lot of easy shots. They struggled from the three-point line, and the Bulls took advantage. They had some good, tough moments in the game where they delivered a late run down the stretch, allowed the Bulls to win this game and to beat the best team in the West twice. They are still the best team in the West according to statistics. To do it twice is a typical Bulls thing. You can lose to the Pistons twice, which we've done, but we could beat Minnesota twice, the best team in the West. It makes no sense. Of course, they had injuries, but so did the Bulls, so I'm not going to put that as an excuse for anybody. The Bulls have 3 season-ending injuries and a rookie out from their team. Obviously, Minnesota, they got a couple of guys that were questionable to play. Karl-Anthony Towns is out, so that sucks for them as well. But in that specific game, there was injuries all over the place. You just have to beat what's put in front of you, and that's what the Bulls did. But then the back-to-back against the Atlanta Hawks, and we lost this game 113-101. And simply put, Atlanta destroyed us from the three-point line. That's as simple as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. Being destroyed from the three-point line is never a nice feeling. And, it's been an ongoing theme for the Bulls for a while. That specific game made me really take a search into the Bulls' defensive ratings and see how bad they truly were. And being bottom 10 in the league for the vast majority of stuff is quite interesting. And I think you saw it firsthand against Atlanta, as you saw it against Brooklyn and Boston and a bunch of other teams before that, including the Rockets and the Detroit Pistons. There's a lot of teams that have simply taken advantage of the Bulls and what they give them on the offensive end. And that's quite frustrating. So, seeing Atlanta erupt from the three-point line, it was unstoppable. And it's not like we weren't in the game. We did a couple of good things in our own right. But the difference is we just simply did not give up the three to anyone. We gave up the three to everyone. That's what I was trying to say. And that we got made to pay for that. And then we had a game against the Knicks, which was earlier on today. We won this game 108-100. The grit, the grind, the dirty work, the team effort, that's what it was all about against the New York Knicks. It wasn't about a player erupting for points, even though we did see that. It wasn't about, can DeMar DeRozan carry us out of the win, which we did see that, but it was the dirty work. The Knicks are a team that wants to do the dirty work well and wants to overwhelm you with their defensive pressure and energy and hustle. And I think the Bulls were the ones that did that. We outplayed the Knicks in their own game, which was fantastic to see. We may never see that again. We got the Knicks 2 more times this season. We may not see that again against the Knicks. I wouldn't put it past the Bulls to deliver some really bad performances in this upcoming stretch. But regardless of what happens in the future, this is the game we've got to focus on now. And that was a good result for the Bulls, where we saw something we haven't seen all season. And it was the togetherness on the defensive end to really secure a win. So I'm happy with that. And we should definitely take that. But there are awards to give. And here starts my must improve award. And I do actually have a player to discuss in this timeout. I'm going to target out Nikola Vucevic for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think defensively he has been rather poor this week. And again, it's easy to target out one player. I really think it's the whole team's fault. You can't just target out one player. But another reason why I'm going to target out Nikola Vucevic is because I think he's been quite passive, I would say, this week. For the most part, I think he's got double doubles throughout the week, which of course, if you say, someone gets a double double and you call them passive, you're quite strange in that regard. But there was a couple of times in the post All-Star break where we really played through Nikola Vucevic, and it worked out so well for him and for this Bulls team. It added different dynamics and sparks to this team we haven't seen. I think throughout the week, we haven't necessarily seen that, I think he had a 16.9 against the New York Knicks, which is great. Scored a big three to help us win the game, which is fantastic. But we didn't really play through him. And his efficiency wasn't great either when we did play through him. So that's where my must improve lies. Again, I also had Dalen Terry in mind because I think the way he misses his three-point shots is really awful. And he needs to improve in that way to not miss as badly as he does. But yeah, it's a toss-up between those two. Vucevic, obviously a key guy on the team. Dalen Terry, a youngster that doesn't get a lot of minutes. I think I had to pick the more experienced guy at this point in time. My defensive player of the week will have to go to Alex Caruso. Again, Alex Caruso had the responsibility to guard Anthony Edwards. He had to guard DeJounte Murray. And he had to guard Jalen Brunson. And I think in a lot of ways, those guys struggled in their games. Now, Atlanta killed us from the three-point line, and that is partly for Caruso, of course. But Anthony Edwards, again, a big responsibility there, guarding one of the most premier scorers in the league today. Highly athletic, can do it at all three levels. He's a fantastic player when he's on. And he just simply had an off night, and Caruso, I think, played a part in that, pressuring him to the moon and back. Then, obviously, you got this game against the Knicks and Brunson. I thought Alex Caruso did a heck of a job against Jalen Brunson. Now, Jalen Brunson statistically might have had a good game. I mean, we could try to take a look and see if he had a good game or not. But regardless of that fact, he had to work, truly work, for the points that he had. All of his points, there were no easy ones out there. There were ones where he had to shove off, or ones where he took shots that you just simply can't believe went in. But it was a difficult game for Brunson, and he had to take over for the Knicks to have a chance to win. And I just felt like at the end of the day, he had 35 points and 11 assists. So that looks great on paper, but he did struggle a lot in that game. And I want to give credit to Caruso for that. You can't stop the best offensive players. You can't stop them. You can hope to contain them. You can hope to have an off night for them. Maybe give them 25 shots to get to 35 points or whatever it is. It is what it is. And I think Caruso did a good job. My sixth man of the week, as much as I'd like to give it to Javonte Green for his fantastic performance against the New York Knicks, it has to be Andre Drummond. The 3 games that he's played, he dominated against the Hawks. He had a great game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he played fairly well against the Knicks as well. His offensive rebounding is the standout for me. I think he had 8 offensive rebounds against the Atlanta Hawks. I think he had a very good chunk of offensive rebounds against the Knicks as well. So I very much appreciate the work he's been doing off the glass. There was one specific play where he just ran into the paint wide open and slams it down. Based off a putback. So he's putting in the work to get in the positions, and that is his specialty at the NBA, getting rebounds. He's one of the best in the league to ever do it, and he did it this week for the Chicago Bulls. And my player of the week will go to DeMar DeRozan. I thought he was outstanding this week. He's got a couple of really, really good games in there. In this game, he got a double-double against the Knicks, but he wasn't very efficient. But still, he led us out of some difficult moments, and he was very, very big this week for us. So congratulations to him. So what do we have next to face? Well, in a couple of days' time, our next game is going to be against the Orlando Magic away from home. The 4th time we'll be facing the Orlando Magic. Keep in mind, we have yet to beat them this season. So this will be a very interesting game in every sense of the word. We'll have to see if the Bulls can pull through and win at least one of those games. Then we got the Knicks again. This will be a very difficult game in our own right, simply because the Knicks have, they have the recency, game over the Bulls in many ways. It's very hard to beat a team consecutively because they'll have that game in the back of their minds, especially so late on in the season, and knowing that they've got us a couple of games from then, they're going to have us in the back of their minds. They're going to remember what we did in that game, and they're going to try to counteract it. That's what good coaching teams do. That's what good sides do in general. They're going to find a way to counteract. For example, Javonte Green, 25 and 13 rebound night. Fantastic. You probably won't see that in the next time against the Knicks. We got the Pistons. We'll have to wait and see about that one. And then we got the Wizards as well. So 2 games that is winnable, but we might not win. What do you think? Thank you for watching. Drop a like and a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.